Welcome back. We are Paranormal Index. I'm Shannon.
I'm Cody.
I'm Julie.
And this is We'd Rather Be Ghost Hunting, but we're not. So let's talk about it. In this series, we are going to be revisiting places that we have investigated, and we're just going to kind of dive deep into them, tell you about the location, kind of what we investigated, and what we got. So in this episode, we're going to talk about the Indiana State Sanatorium. It's a massive medical complex where thousands of tuberculosis patients once came seeking treatment. With so many lives passing through its halls, some believe not everyone truly left. ISS opened in 1908 as a hospital dedicated to treating tuberculosis, a disease that once killed thousands across the United States. Patients often stayed for months or years while undergoing treatment, and many died there during the height of the epidemic. The tuberculosis hospital closed in 1968 and became a nursing home and private mental hospital in 1976. After more than a century of operation, the facility eventually closed in 2011, leaving behind a large historic campus and a reputation for unexplained activity reported by visitors and investigators. So, we have gone there twice now, and granted, we've only gone during the day. We have not investigated at night. Mainly because it's so expensive.
Yeah.
If we had the money, I think we would.
I think we would go.
Maybe. Yeah. It's a bit dilapidated. But I feel like most of there's three main buildings. There's Adams Hall, which is like the residential where the patients stayed. There is like the nursing home, hospital area, and then the administration hall, which I can't remember if it had like a specific name, but I think that's more where obviously admin was, and the doctors and the nurses stayed, because basically everyone stayed on campus when it was tuberculosis, and I don't know about when it was a nursing home, but for the tuberculosis it was basically self-sustainable. They had farms and everything like that. Nobody left. You came and that's where you lived. So we really done investigations in all three of those buildings, and then there's tunnels underneath that link all three of those buildings as well, and so we've done a little bit in there too. So where do you guys want to start?
Ooh, I don't know.
So like I said, we've only done it during the day, but we've actually gotten activity each time we've gone, and different activity in different buildings, different parts of the campus.
Yeah, they were both during the day, but they felt different each time for sure.
Yeah.
I know one of the first times we went, I feel like we had one of our best REM pod encounters.
Yes.
That was really cool, and we got it on camera. And the second time, I feel like it was more spirit box EMF based.
Yeah.
So they were just very different experiences. So
yeah, so let's talk about that first time we went. We did most of that was at least Cody and mine's first time there, so we spent more time just walking every floor, just so that we could kind of get an idea. But most of our investigating, I feel took place in Adams Hall, which was the residential where the patients stayed. And I feel specifically, what was that, 309?
I think so, because then last time it was one up.
Yeah. And so we specifically kind of, I guess, targeted 309 because there's another YouTube channel that we follow, and they got some really good stuff there. They've gotten on thermals, something moving across the window, so we're okay, let's check it out. Did we get anything before we set up the REM pod, or did we just kind of set it up?
I think we saw Project Fear there, and we wanted to try and see if we could get something. So I wanted to set, I think we walked into our spirit box. I think we did spirit box a little bit in there.
Okay.
Right?
And we did get some answers. Nothing super concrete.
Yeah, nothing super concrete. Just enough to be there might be something. But when we were done with spirit box, we were walking out into the hallway, and I will put this video in here so you can watch it.
If something wants us to come back into this room, just set that REM pod off. Oh. Good. Okay. Can you set it off again? You just set it off. Do it again. If you want us to come back, set it off, but we're gonna walk away. You gotta do it longer next time so we can all hear it. Come back down. If you want us to stop in the room, you set it off. The run touch. Thank you. We're coming back down. If you want us to stop in the room, can you set it off, the REM pod?
Yeah, it's insane. Like having it go off and you guys not hearing it, but then me having it on like video of it going off.
Yeah.
We walk away, we come back, and like, okay, I'm gonna record on my phone just in case. Hey, if you're in there and you want us to stop in and spend some time with you, set it off, and it freaking goes off.
Immediately.
Insane.
Yeah.
Like we all just froze because we were just like, wait,
Yeah.
is that the REM pod?
Yeah.
And it was, yeah.
Like that was probably, I don't know, one of the most insane things that's happened so far because it was like on cue.
I was
Yeah.
in a totally different
Yeah.
room. I think I was recording in the offering room,
Yeah, I think
and so
so.
like I once again was not present when it happened, but I can't dispute the video evidence really.
Yeah.
But then like Rebecca comes running in there and she's like, the REM pod went off. We got to go back in there.
Yeah.
That was insane. And like we debunked the wind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we
Off,
closed.
we
Yeah, we
turned it.
closed the window. I mean,
Yeah.
we like.
That
Yeah.
whole footage, the whole interaction is on YouTube. You can go watch it. It's like 35, 40 minutes long. So you can see us close the
Oh yeah,
windows.
you can see us do a spirit box then, and have. I think the REM pod was still set up maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think because we had the camera on the REM pod, and then you were just doing it with filming with your phone. So I do think it's really cool to have like the
views.
two different angles,
Yeah.
and like you can hear you coming on the one facing the REM pod,
Mm-hmm.
and saying like, yeah, if you want us to come back in there, like make it go off, and then like immediately.
We were gone for like 15 minutes at that point.
Yeah.
And it never went off once.
Mm-hmm.
Until I say,
We're coming
we're
back.
coming back.
Yeah.
Set it
Yeah.
off.
Uh-huh.
You can see trees move in the background.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
we debunked the wind. I feel
Yeah.
like.
Well, and then we we closed the window, and I think it still went off a time
Oh,
or
it
two.
did.
Yeah.
Oh, it did, for sure. And it's just like crazy.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
On that first time too, Julie and I went to the tunnels,
Mm-hmm.
and we walked down to the end where where we found out you can climb up to the nursing station. We didn't see the ladder, I guess, the first time.
Yeah. It's kind of hidden.
But so then we kind of sat in between like the nursing home and the administration hall, and I mean it was pitch black, and you could see almost like quite literally a light at the end of the tunnel.
Where like the doorway was.
Yeah. And so since you're during the day, like there can be other people there walking around, and so there were maybe a total of like 4 other people there that day.
Mm-hmm.
And so Julie and I were sitting there, just doing some videos of like, if anyone's here. I think we had the PS device out.
Yeah, I think so. And again, we were sitting in the pitch black, so like
Yes.
we had shut our flashlights off.
Yeah. And then we heard like voices,
Yeah.
and we're like, oh, okay, like that group's coming, like
Mhm.
we'll turn our flashlights
Mhm.
back on, we'll get up.
We don't want to scare them.
And there was no one there. Like no one ever came around the corner.
Mhm.
So we're like, okay, let's just like walk out, and like no one
We
was
couldn't
there.
see anybody.
We actually never even saw those people again.
No, it was weird. Yeah.
Like-
I mean, like that tunnel is like the spot that we were it's kind of like a one way. Like you go to the end and you usually just turn around.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult, I think, to get out the other end. And so when we heard the voices, unless they had like heard us and turned around. But I
But I don't think we
walked
were
out
actively
there,
talking
no,
either.
we were sitting there in silence. And we were like, oh, we should probably turn it off and like not scare them.
Yeah.
And like every corner, we expect to see them, and we never did.
We never did. So, I mean, looking back on it, like, I think it might have been some, like, residual
Energy,
voices.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
On our second visit, we didn't really sit in the tunnels because there was it had like rain. It was like early winter.
Muddy,
It
cold.
was things were wet and they didn't look nice.
Yeah.
But we did find the additional tunnels that went to Adams Hall, which were like smaller. You had to like
It was
almost crouch.
yeah.
Like, so I don't know how those would be like late summer when we went the first time. Maybe they'll be drier.
Yeah.
We
it
could
was
go.
very muddy, very wet,
But-
very short.
Yeah. So, but that was interesting to find those tunnels too. And so in our second, I think that was most of the equipment we used in our first one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we tried tap balls, didn't do anything.
Yeah. We left on the offering
We
table.
did some EVP and we had EMF go off in the laundry room a lot.
Oh.
Yeah, so we did the EMF reader in the nursing home, and man, it was spiky.
It's the only time it went off too. Like
That
we
day,
were
yeah.
walking around, and it
Mm-hmm.
just there was this one closet with, or was it a shower?
It was
a
like a
shower.
weird-
shower.
It was like a
Weird stall.
It
bathroom.
had two tubs. I
Yeah.
think, and like it was
I
going.
honestly wonder, like, sorry, thinking about
Yeah.
it now, like, I wonder if it was one of the electroshock therapy rooms.
Oh,
Did they do that
shoot.
there?
I think so. That was one of the accounts, like, in the history that I was reading up
Uh-huh.
on. Like, I thought they did. Like, later, when
Oh.
it became more of, like, an asylum, sort of.
Yeah.
Oh.
I would have to do the
Crazy.
research, but, like, just thinking about it now, it's like those two giant tubs in this weird room.
It was a
Like,
super weird
It
room.
was just interesting, so don't quote me on that, but...
Ah. I mean, and we didn't
That's
go back
weird,
that
'cause you know
the second
what?
time, so I don't know.
Remember in the EVP, it was making that crackling, static
right.
freaking
Yeah.
noise.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe it was like
Yeah.
we did that during the day there.
So
Oh.
yeah, we did go into that weird bathroom tub room, and we closed the door. I think we might have propped it because we were a little afraid to get locked
It was a
in.
heavy door, and it was hard to open. We didn't want to get
Yes,
stuck in there.
we like. There's no cell service on this
No,
campus,
No.
and
And like they're not gonna come looking for us until we don't leave at the end of the day.
I don't
so-
even. Yeah, they're not even gonna do that.
Yeah,
like they don't like. You don't like check out. Like you just leave, so they're not gonna know if people are there.
I mean, hopefully they see our car, but
Hopefully they do it
Oh,
once
that's true.
around.
Yeah.
Like
The
don't
per
grab this like,
car,
whoops,
yeah.
5 o'clock. See you tomorrow, losers.
But anyway, we probably propped
That's
open
true.
the door.
That's
Especially
true.
like with how dilapidated it is.
Yeah, I
Like
would check on
someone's
people.
falling through the floor one of these days.
I don't know how somebody hasn't fallen down the stairs, but
Honestly.
Yeah.
so anyway, we were in that room.
And yeah, so then we did go like, we went dark in there.
Mhm.
We did, an EVP session, just asking normal things, is there someone here? Like, what's your name? Why were you here? Like, your standard questions. And then when we played it back, there was this super weird
Just static the whole time.
interference.
Just crackling. Just, weird.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. Which then we left, went back to the nurse's station, brought in a different one,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't do it.
Yeah.
So I tried the first one again.
Mhm.
So we do two different
Like,
recorders. And then the first recorder, the second time we use it, didn't do it.
yeah.
So
So, it
it's
was
like-
just that one.
Just that one time. And I don't think it was
session.
spiking anymore either.
Yeah.
So it was just like, whatever.
Well, I think at that point we had turned the EMF reader off because it was so bright
Mhm.
in the
Oh,
dark
that's
room
true.
that we were like,
Yeah.
it was blinding us, to be
Yeah.
honest.
And again, this place has no electricity,
Mhm.
no running water, terrible
Right.
cell service.
Right.
Like, there shouldn't be anything there.
No.
And it's like cobblestone and asbestos. Like, it's not, there's not copper pipes.
No.
It's like, there's
Oh
nothing
yeah,
that
because
should be conducting.
honestly, I think the second time, didn't you hold it up to the pipe?
Yeah, because
And
I was
then
like, I wonder if I'm surprised nobody's stolen all the pipes out of
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, they're lead. Like, they're not even copper pipes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
because I
like-
mean, like, there's areas where the ceiling's exposed, the floor is exposed, the walls are exposed. Like, you can see what's around you,
Yeah.
and there wasn't anything.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Also, after that experience, we had like gone over, and if you've ever been here before, the nurses station is a very weird layout because you basically get to an intersection of 4 giant, massive hallways,
Yeah.
and you're just in the middle of these 4 massive, long hallways at night. It's very freaky. My sister and I had done a tour previously, but this time we went to the nurse station. We're waiting for our EMF to keep recording, EVP, and we kind of sat separately a little bit, and you and Cody were like off to one side, and then Rebecca and I were like off to another,
Mm-hmm.
like just 20 feet apart maybe. And Rebecca and I had like whipped our heads around because we heard a noise, and we were like, oh, somebody must be coming down the hallway. Like, it was that loud. And so we like were just quiet, like waiting to see what would happen. and like we turned to you guys, and like they hadn't even heard it.
I didn't hear anything.
And it was so loud, and I don't know if like they were just on the other like part of the hallway where you couldn't get the sound, but it was very weird, like bizarre that we heard it and they didn't. It was to us very loud. So, yeah.
And you guys are twins.
Yeah.
Got that weird like sixth sense.
Yeah.
I feel like for most of these things, I'm like, I didn't hear it.
I do think, like, the more we
True.
talk about our experiences, I don't know if there's been, like, a singular thing, maybe besides Conrad, but, like, I don't think there's been a singular thing that all of us have experienced.
The footsteps, maybe?
At the
At the
jail.
jail, maybe. But I
but
think we all
Becca
just
wasn't
heard
there,
them
but yeah.
separately.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear the footsteps too at the jail?
Yeah, because I think
Okay.
we had all, like, sat
Okay.
in a separate cell. But
Okay.
it's just, like,
Yeah,
when there's
no.
all four of us there, all of us together, like, it's almost like we
There's
never
always-
hear anything. Yeah.
There's always one
something.
person that's like, what?
Yeah.
And it's usually me.
I don't, yeah. I think it's Shannon or I.
Cody pretty much
are locked in.
always hears it.
Yeah.
What? No.
Yeah. So then on our second day there, like our second time around, we kind of had like a totally different experience.
Yeah, and we did start at the opposite end.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to start differently.
Yeah, so we started at Adams Hall because we wanted to go back to 309 since we had gotten, the REM pod and everything. And really, like, almost every floor, we were getting the EMF to spike in the hallway.
Just the hallway. It was
As soon as we
weird.
turned on.
Yeah, and then we'd go into a room and it'd be like, no.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, okay, clearly not that room. And, like, you'd keep going. But it was really just the hallways.
Yeah.
Every floor almost.
And like that's what's so wild to me about EMFs. Like I certainly don't know exactly how all of these things work, but like EMF is supposed to pick up electromagnetic energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So like if I hold it next to my phone, if I hold it next to a microwave, it's gonna go off. It's going to sense something.
Mm-hmm.
But like in this abandoned building, why is it just going off in the middle of the hallway?
Yeah.
Like what's in the hallway? But then the second you turn into a other abandoned room, there's nothing in there. Like
And not just going off in the hallway, like spiking. Like,
and holding.
fives, 4, 5, 4, 5.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So like to me, it's almost like okay, obviously the hallway was one of the most traveled.
Yeah.
So is it just the residual energy of that? But like if we're trying to debunk it, I couldn't understand it.
Yeah. I couldn't debunk it. The only thing I could think, like you said, is that like so many people used to walk the hallways that it's just that residual energy. We didn't do Spirit Box per se because our Bluetooth speaker had died. So we kind of did like a walking Estes method.
We've dubbed it
The
the index method.
index method.
Which if someone's used it and
Trademark.
you haven't named it, that's so well. I'm not sorry.
You can now call it the index method.
Which is where one of your members will walk around the spirit box and
Have
with canceling headphones on, like you would be doing Estes, but they're just exploring. They're
They
walking
don't
around.
have the blindfold on.
They don't have the blindfold on,
They're
so
not
they're just walking
stationary.
around, just listening, and it worked really,
Yeah.
really good and really creepily good.
Yeah.
Like,
You just kind of either like stay in front of the group or in another room so that you
Right,
can't
it's
like
still separate.
you can't read lips or whatever and be like,
Yeah.
oh, I can see what they're saying, I can hear what they're
I'll post
saying.
some footage now too of it, so you guys can kind of see Shannon walking around and whatnot. But yeah, it's really crazy because we got a lot of good responses with it.
We
We
did.
were
And-
surprised, I think.
Yeah.
And like this was your first time kind of going under.
Yeah, this was my first time doing any sort of Estes method, because like honestly, it's kind of scared me a little bit, and I've always blamed it on like I don't want to get a headache. But I was like, you know what, let's do it. Like, and we were going down to a different floor in the and we were in the stairwell, and I was walking behind Julie, and Cody was behind me, and like certain, like you'd hear like little clips of music or songs or like things that you could clearly tell were like a DJ like on the radio. But the voice I heard was not, and it said like almost there, and it was like that weird pause in there, and it was clearly a man's voice. It was very low, and it gave me instant chills. And that was the first time I've ever heard a voice on a spirit box that like did not sound like the radio. And honestly freaked me out a little
Yeah.
bit.
And if you're not familiar with a spirit box, the way that we use ours is it scans the radio frequencies backwards and very quickly.
Yeah.
So if we hear a radio station, we shouldn't be able to intelligently hear a word and understand the word. If anything, it should be backwards.
Yeah.
And we hear it for such a split second that you shouldn't be able to get a whole word in there anyway. So the way that we do ours is if we hear a word, there's no debunking that it's the radio. Like, how can it be the radio if it's backwards and scanning so quickly?
Ours scans 3 radio stations per second. What are you going to hear in a 300th of a second on one radio station? You're going to hear a but instead you hear almost there.
Like, what?
Yeah.
And I was getting weird responses when I had it on. I was like, there's no way. Like, it was telling me, like, outside. And I'm like, oh, I'm outside your room? Yes. Like, okay, this is insane. And, like, there's one point where you can see my face. And I think so. When you asked the question, I'm like, right
like
here.
In the stairwell?
And I can kind of read your lips in that instance.
I think we were like, oh, should we go? Like, do you want us to go downstairs? And I think...
Like, and I could see what they had asked, but the most clearest, yes. Where I was like, you could see on my face, I'm like, it just says yes.
Yeah.
Like, I swear to God, it says
like,
yes.
You almost hesitated for a second, like, did I hear that? And you're like...
Because it was so
yes.
clear. It was like Shannon said, it was like almost goosebumps, because you're like, that wasn't radio.
Mm-hmm.
That was not the radio. So, just, I don't know. It was so active that day. So cool.
But, like, hearing those words, it almost, like, I went from, like, not wanting to ever do spirit box to, like, I'll do it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I almost, like, it gave me such an adrenaline rush that I was like, okay, I love this. Like, and I think I sat there with it on for, like, an hour.
Oh, a while, yeah.
And you guys were like, you're like, you want to be done? I'm like, I'm fine.
And it was really weird. So, at one point, too, when we were either going up or down, but you had gone up, I think, or down before me, and I was kind of trailing, and I looked out the window and I was looking at a red car, and I was like, oh, there's some people here, there's some more people, and I forget exactly what she says.
I think I said, did you see that car? Or something like that.
I thought she was like I thought Shannon saw
and like
the car.
I just kept I think I was definitely
like,
in front of you, and I just kept walking.
You think
and
you
I'm
went
like,
up.
whatever, and I was just like, did you see that car? And I just kept walking.
Yeah.
And then like,
And
you know,
like
I can sense that you guys like stopped.
Yeah.
You know, so I turn around, and you're like,
hello?
and I'm like, what happened?
And I'm like, what'd you say about the car? You're like, what?
I don't know.
And I'm like, did you see, like, did you
you
watch
look
me
out?
looking at the car? Like, what are you talking about the car? And you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, okay, that's super weird. So
Yeah.
we put the headphones back on, and then Julie and I heard talking. And whatever, Shannon just goes, I think we go, oh, that must be the group we saw.
Yeah.
And then Shannon goes, that's us. Like, what do you mean that's us?
Yeah, it was weird.
It is so weird.
Yeah.
And then watching back the footage, like I was just standing in a room. You guys were in the hallway, and I think you had hit like the
Bucket or something.
like a fire extinguisher box or something.
Oh.
You hit something on the wall.
Yeah. Yes. I
And
like opened something and then
Yes.
shut it. It was really loud.
And I like while it was happening, I didn't know, but like I watched back the footage, and
Yeah, you're,
like so
in the
that
room.
happened, and then like 2 seconds later, I was like, stop that.
Yeah.
And I think you guys thought it meant something else, like
Yeah.
and like looking back, I'm like, I feel like it was telling you to like
Stop
stop
messing.
like messing with the like stop messing around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that's kind of funny.
Mhm.
That is,
Yeah.
It was, it's so cool. It's a
And like
great
I had no
place.
idea, like I knew you guys were in the hallway, but I had no
Mhm.
idea what was
Yeah.
happening.
And I mean, that's the whole point of doing Estes. That's the whole point of doing like the index method. Like the goal is to have an unbiased response. So
Yeah.
the spirits can hear us and communicate with the person who is under, and it's completely unbiased answers. So anything that like correlates is just so wild because the person under and the people not under cannot really hear each other. They don't communicate.
Yeah.
So it's so weird when something like links up like that.
You want to try with that? I want to put the headphones on with Spirit Box, and I want to walk around a cemetery.
Yeah.
I think that'd be so
correlates.
cool.
Yeah.
Just like if there's anything here,
Yeah.
and just see, because then you won't be like a weirdo. You'll just have headphones on,
Right.
you know.
Until they ask you what you're listening to.
That's
but-
tree. Yeah.
No
Listening
one's gonna
to,
stop you to ask
no.
that. No one wants to talk
Not
to
in a
anybody.
cemetery.
Yeah.
No. What are
But-
you doing here? I'm visiting my grandma. Gosh.
She actually just came through.
Yeah. She said, keep walking and mind your business.
But yeah, that would be wild to like walk around the cemetery like that, and especially if you get like a name or something. Can you imagine if it would correlate with like one of the graves you were
Like
just
near,
near?
yeah.
Like
That would be crazy.
Yeah. So we went to that one day.
But yeah, so we did a lot of index method in Adams Hall, and then we kind of went through like the nursing home, and we didn't do a whole lot there. So it was kind of like late winter. It was like super rainy the last couple weeks when we went, and the nursing home is literally falling apart.
Oh, and
it's so
like
bad.
holes in the roof, and it was
flooded.
wet in there. Like when I tell you it was wet, when we walked through the kitchen to get like from Adams Hall to the nursing home, I was like,
You were splashing through puddles.
oh no, like you guys were like talking, I'm like, nope, it smells like mildew, and I'm like, I can't, I'm gonna throw up. Like,
It was bad.
like I can't even like stand in this room. Like I need to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like wet and damp, and like so we didn't really investigate a lot there because like I didn't want to sit on anything. I didn't want to be in that building.
Yeah.
Like not because of like I felt scared, but I felt gross. Like
It was really, and I feel like about the tunnels.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So we didn't really do the tunnels either because it was super wet that
Everything
second
was, we were
time.
gonna like sit down on some chairs, and I was like, those are soggy.
Yeah.
Like, that's-
It was also crazy. Like, I don't think this is supernatural, but the tunnels were so cold. Like, you go to the
Oh,
entrance,
yeah.
it was just like wafts of like freezing air. So
Freezing.
and I think that's
We
just
weren't-
because it was like
well, they're underground.
Yeah.
coming
It's
off
still
of
frozen.
winter.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I did not wear the right clothes.
we were not
It-
prepared for that.
It was like 60 that day,
Yeah,
but
it
like
was a nice
I
day.
was not prepared for how cold the buildings and the tunnels would be. That like thankfully I had like a winter hat in the car that I put on because I was
Yeah.
freezing.
Yeah.
And-
Well, I mean, which was honestly, it was worth it
badass.
because then we ended at the admissions.
Yeah, the
And-
administration hall.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, we had great stuff there.
Oh my gosh, that was.
And honestly, we were like, all right, we'll just like chill here for like 30 minutes
We gotta
and then we're gonna
leave.
leave.
Yeah.
And we had set up the REM pod, and it was active. Not like
It was
I
just
mean, it
like,
was just going off.
Yeah.
I don't even feel like it was answering questions.
No.
Being intelligent. I think it was just a busy day at the office, and there was a lot of nurses coming and going,
Literally.
and it
Because
was
we were in, I guess,
insane.
like it could have been like the reception area, like
Yeah.
right when you walked
Front
in, like the
entryway.
front doors, like
Mhm.
that's kind of by the grand staircase. That's kind of where we were.
Mhm.
So yes,
Constant traffic,
very
I would say.
centralized.
Yeah.
And that's where we set up the REM pod. That's kind of where we set up like base for that half hour or so. And yeah, it was just constantly going off. And like, I mean, we tried asking questions and like it was not responding to
Yeah.
us. It was just like going off.
Energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll post some of that too.
Nothing temperature, just like proximity.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, so I think we moved that over to the side, and then we set Cody up with proper Estes method.
Mine's
We,
blindfold.
well, yeah,
I
we
had
didn't,
my eyes closed.
we didn't have a blindfold, but we're trustworthy. And so
Well,
Cody,
like, I think he was also staying there with his eyes closed, so.
Oh, yeah.
so we set Cody up in front of the stairs, and we did post these videos, so you can always go back and watch the entire session.
About
But
10 minutes long.
yeah, like,
Very worth it.
it was great. And then so I went to kind of stand, I don't know, 5 or so feet behind the REM pod so I can kind of get it in the shot. Still not like making any sense with like what answers we were getting with Spirit
No.
Box. But I definitely felt like we were talking to a couple nurses.
Yeah.
We were getting names
Mhm.
and not like,
John, Mary.
right, we
These
got,
were age specific? Or
Or,
like
era,
era specific?
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
yeah. So the first, like, I don't remember like the order of the questions that we
Mhm.
asked or anything, but the name Evangeline came through, which like I've literally,
It was such a weird name.
Yeah.
it was so weird that he didn't even know
I
like
didn't
what
know what
he
the
was
name
saying.
was. I was like, Evangeline, Javangeline, I don't know.
And craziest coincidence that I just so happened to be reading a book where the main character's name was Evangeline, and when I started the book, I was like, what?
Really? That's crazy.
What kind of name is this? I don't even know how to say it. And in the book, she went by Evie. And so I was like, do you like to be called Evie? And you said yes.
Immediately.
And I was like, oh, okay.
And I was like, Shannon, how did you even come up with that? Like, and I wasn't talking too much.
You should read, folks.
Yeah. Coming from librarian.
Yeah, it's true. Librarian.
I was sick that day, so I was trying not to talk too much because my voice sounded really weird. But like Shane and I made eye contact, and I would like her face was like up, and I was like, how did you even know
Like
that?
she gave me that like,
what the heck?
and I'm like, I don't know.
But he said yes, so here we are.
And then we asked. So that I felt like I was like, no offense, I felt like I was running like Spirit Box, like asking the questions, and I was like, I don't know what to say. Like, what do you ask? And so I tried to ask like, I tried to think of some good questions, and I felt like we got some really great responses.
A lot of it matched up or made sense.
They did. Like I asked some things, and you like cut me off. Like,
oh, so one of the things that we'll get to that, but when we were talking to Evangeline, I think you asked a few questions about like, were you a nurse here? And it was like, yeah, we think she was maybe a nurse on the weekend or something.
Yeah, there were some questions that, like, you said, like, Thursday, Friday. And I was like, oh, were you just, like, part-time? Did you only work on the weekend? And I was like, week. And you're like, yes. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, like, did you, I think at one point, because I kind of forgot. Like, I ran out of, like, things to ask. So I was like, oh, we heard that there was abuse here. Did you partake in? And I felt like I was almost taunting a little bit at that point, because I was like, this could go, like, sideways
poorly
quickly. But I was like, did you partake in the abuse? And you said something like,
yeah, I guess so.
And
you asked, well, did you do any of that? I think it said I helped people.
It said something along the lines of like helping people, or like,
humanity.
Like I did it for humanity or something like that.
And you're like, well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And like I helped people. But then you asked about the abuse and some of the neglect, and like it. I think we were like confirmed it in a way.
Yeah.
But at one point it kind of goes dead, and you say, "Am I still talking to Evan?" And I cut you off, and I say, "Taylor."
Yeah. Like, oh, okay.
So
guess
I'm like,
we're talking
okay,
to Taylor.
So we're talking to Taylor now. And then we did get another name in there too, which was Maeve, which again, not like a super common name nowadays. But yeah, we were like, we were asking questions about like being a nurse, helping people. Saying, like they were saying things like, I want to go home. I want to go home. I want to be remembered. Like,
kind of sad.
I was gonna say it got sad a little bit, where I didn't know. You like almost like if you're talking to a person in your life and you're like, I don't know how to continue this conversation. Like, so
it's a sad place to be.
Yeah,
and we haven't touched on this yet, but like, it got shut down in 2012,
2011. So like super recent,
right? Not even that long.
And like when you hear. So we also did Billy Creek, which we haven't done a podcast on it yet. But the person who did our tour there told us like what happened when this place closed.
Yeah.
When ISS closed, and it's like horrific.
Yeah.
Like people just being told, "You're good to go. You can leave. Like there's the door, and good luck.
Get your stuff. Good luck."
And like these people froze to death in the woods.
Yeah.
There's a story of a lady freezing to death on top of the water tower there.
Yeah.
Which we'll post a picture of that here. People in the woods, like, just dead that they still find every now and then.
For years, they were finding people.
Well, like, people would try to run away and, like, get hit by cars and, like, just all of these things.
But, like, when you go into some of these rooms, there are
mementos,
Christmas cards from, like, 2007. Love Uncle Jay and Aunt Mary. And it's, like, that's just still pinned to the wall.
Yeah.
And, like, in their drawers,
there's
clothes. There's, like, crocheted blankets. It's really sad.
It's horrible.
I know that when my sister and I had went on a tour with like some of the people who volunteer there was still like hospital records down in the basement in like one of the locked rooms, like where admin is, and they were like, don't take pictures in this room because there's a ton of like records that
like
could
medical
still
records,
be
names,
recent,
social security.
There was
people
that were still alive that had records there, and it's just crazy how much is just like. Literally
like they're like, okay, we've lost funding, doors are closed,
like in 10 minutes,
out,
And next to the nurses station, which I saw.
I mean, like you think like you have a job, like you bring, this is my favorite mug, like even those
my
kind of
crap.
things were left from like the workers.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, like next to the worker station or the nurses station, there was like this cart, and you could tell it was like the cart they pushed down because it
Right.
had like all these cups for
Yeah.
probably like
Yeah.
pills and stuff, and it had like the freaking clipboard with all the
Yeah.
patients' names on
It's
it and
like,
stuff,
oh, we're done. Okay,
and it's like
walk away.
you can just leave that.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre, and like the nurses' schedule,
Yeah.
like behind the nurses station, like sticky notes still,
Yeah.
like tomorrow or meeting Friday at noon.
Yeah.
Well, did you ever get to your meeting?
Yeah, it's honestly so
Crazy.
crazy how much is left behind, and just like how people can just abandon a building completely and the people in it. It's so sad.
It's quite literally frozen in time.
Yeah, and I would say it's probably got 10 years left.
Yeah.
I know we were talking about that afterwards, like just from how dilapidated the building is, like it's not going to be around forever.
Well,
No.
if it closed in 2011, it's been closed for 15 years.
And I mean, like
It looks like it's been closed for 50.
It
Yeah.
looks awful.
And I mean, they are working on it. Like, they actually are just opening up a bed and breakfast on the property, which is gorgeous. We actually were able to go in and, like, walk around, and it was fully remodeled, like, gorgeous. So I think they're hoping to use that as funding to try to keep the buildings up, but it's...
But they got to get some new roofs on there, or, like, these places are
Some
gonna,
windows.
they're gonna crumble.
Yeah. I mean, they're massive. Like, the Adams Hall is, like, a 5-story residential building. The nurses' wing is, like, there's 4 giant hallways. Like, these are huge historic buildings that are just crumbling.
And I have a freaking idea for them. If you guys are listening and you work at ISS or you know someone who does, send them this idea. Have a field day where you get 2 free day passes. Come out, volunteer, get 2 free day passes.
Yeah, help us clean
Stay
up.
for a minimum 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
All they would need is to have some garbage bags, shovel up all that crap in the hallways.
Yeah.
Like the walls are crumbling, and it's just about
Piles.
a foot from the wall. There's just like piles of asbestos,
Plaster,
plaster,
yeah.
just nasty.
Yeah.
Like if all that just got cleaned up, swept, some
Yeah.
boards got put up on some of the windows, I think it would hold up a whole lot longer.
Right. They
Yeah.
give it more time.
I think the spirits that are there deserve that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I don't know how many noises we heard that, like, we had to stop and be like, is that the wind? Is that, like, something?
Yeah.
Is that, like, you know, curtains rustling?
Right,
and,
yeah.
like, 10 times out of 10, that's what it was.
Yeah.
But I think that's the main reason we don't want to do an overnight is because, specifically at Adams Hall,
oh yeah.
it's deteriorating so much that, like, I wouldn't want to rub up against the walls on accident because, like, or I'd trip over something. Like, we
Yeah.
almost trip during the day sometimes,
Yeah.
and you're like, how? There's no way.
Yeah.
Like,
Including Rebecca, 3 of us are, like, completely, terribly clumsy. So,
so they would definitely be making us sign those waivers.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we could do the bed and breakfast and explore the other buildings, but it's definitely a great place to go if you're in this area of Indiana. It's an awesome place to go, especially during the day. Day passes are very cheap. You're usually, like, we were alone, basically.
Oh,
we
yeah.
only shared the space a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, we've never done a day pass on the weekend, which
Yeah.
might be busier. We always go during the week. We specifically take time off of work to go so that there's less people. And I mean, that second day, I think there were only 2 people.
Yeah, and it was a gorgeous day, so.
And they, walked like 1 floor and then left.
Yeah,
or
that was
something.
weird. I don't know. They didn't explore that much.
Yeah,
but
we
they
gave them
thought
our
they
space.
saw another group that wasn't us. And I'm like, no,
Yeah, it was
it's
weird.
just us.
Because they were like, oh, did we scare you? And we're like, oh,
Well, they
we just
scared me,
heard
'cause-
something. You had headphones on.
Yeah.
But we, like, opened the door, and we were like, oh, yeah, another group. And they're like, oh, careful, there's another group up there. And we're like, oh, no, we just came down. It's just us. And they're like, no, there's another group. And we're like,
Yeah, whatever.
I think they were
I
kind of
don't
just
think
confused.
so.
Yeah.
But they gave us our space, and we gave them their space. So
Yeah.
it's very easy to work around people.
Yeah. So let's rate the location. 1 ghost, not haunted. 5 ghosts, what did we say? Haunting AF? Haunted AF?
Yeah.
So, what's your verdict? What is ISS haunted?
I believe so.
I think
How many
so.
ghosts? You gotta rate it.
4.5.
I was gonna say 4. Like, I feel like for me, like, the number 5, like, Monroe is just, like, still top tier right now. So it's definitely not, like, Monroe is more, like, evil scary. I don't get that from ISS. I
for
get
sure.
more, like, residual energy ghosts.
Yeah.
like friendly ghosts, curious ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say like 4, 4.5. I definitely think something's there.
I would agree. I'd say 4 to 4.5 ghosts because we've gotten, I think, some solid evidence that we can't really debunk or explain, and it does make sense to the questions that we were asking.
Yep.
I agree. I don't think it's like evil. Maybe it changes at night because there have been, I mean, a lot of people go to ISS and a lot of people do investigations there, and there are some.
There's some places where it would be. Well, there's one floor where the people couldn't get along with. There's like one where they can only get along with men, only get along with women. So there were some violent people. But maybe they sleep during the day. You know, like you I'm sure you interact with different things throughout like different spirits throughout the day. But yeah, what we've interacted with I don't feel is evil. I think it is very residual, just things that are kind of hanging around. Would you go back? Clearly we have. 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
I think I would I don't know, I want to do an overnight. I don't want to pay the money. And I also don't want to rub walls. Like, rub up against the wall.
Rub walls? What are you doing?
I need like a hazmat suit to go. I mean, we just said that they need funding, and so it's not like it's a lot of money to go overnight. We would need a bigger group to go.
For sure.
And so if things align perfectly, we would love to give them our business and go.
Yeah.
I would definitely love to do an overnight. It's something we definitely talked about and considered.
Yeah. So, what do you think? Have you been to ISS based on other videos you've watched, based on our evidence? Do you think it's haunted? Let us know.
Bye, guys.
Bye.